Welcome, everyone, to the Multiverse Fundraiser. This is our opening remarks. I'm Kelly Guentner of Phoenix Sisters Cosplay and the Cereal Box Network. And I am sitting here with Mark Weiss, the founder and president of our partner charity, Comic Books for Kids. How are you doing tonight, Mark?
Kelly, listen, this is incredible. I am so appreciative to you for having us here. I'm appreciative to all the people who are watching your incredible podcast, and I wanted to say thank you to you for having me on, and for all those incredible people who are my new friends for watching.
And thank you so much for being just an awesome charity partner. We have had a lot of fun collaborating behind the scenes. We really appreciate your mission. I'm just going to flash a visual of it up on the screen for all to see. So, as it says here, your mission is very straightforward. It's to provide child-friendly comic books to children in hospitals and cancer centers across the US. Where you can help in Canada, you do as well. And in almost every case, they come as new comics, but you also occasionally provide unread warehouse overstock. It's just, this is a great mission. So, do you want to tell me a little more about why you chose this mission?
Uh, Absolutely. And if you had told me years ago that I would, 6, 7 years, be standing here talking to you and all your incredible followers, I would have said I want to drink or smoke whatever you guys have because um, it. I'm in my 60s now. I may look like I'm 20s, but I'm really not. And it, I was getting ready. The comics have been a passion of mine my whole life, my literally my whole life. It wasn't my career. It wasn't my profession. I've never been in the comic industry, but it was something that I cared about deeply. Uh, I got to a point in my very late 50s where I said, I want to do something. I don't want what's my legacy? Really, what's my legacy? I was in IT and I was doing software and I used to come home and say, is this really what I I I, I want to do? Because it wasn't. And I knew I wanted to do something with comics, but I've always enjoyed sharing the mythology of the characters and sharing comics and giving them to kids. Nephews, nieces. If I have a, you know, I would, if I had some great stuff, I would hand it out to the extended family. So it got to a point where I decided that I was going to just give some of my comics to a children's charity, uh, just so they could enjoy what I did. And so I went on Google and I looked up comic book charities. And I saw a few, but nothing really jumped out at me. Dropped the emails to a few of them, called a few of them, and never heard back. I looked again, couldn't find anything. So my conclusion, Kelly, wasn't that there wasn't a comic book charity. My conclusion was that my Google search skills were just absolutely abysmal, and I was just doing the wrong thing. Um, but I kept on looking, and I couldn't find anything. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to start a comic book charity. And I told my
Your
son
Google
that.
skills were abysmal.
And right, I mean, absolutely. I figured I'll find one. I'll find one. I'll just keep looking. It's me. And so I told my son, we'll find a charity. And time went by. A year goes by. My son calls me a springtime day about 7 years ago and says, Dad, are you going to get off your ass and start the charity? Quote. Said, yeah, Mike, you know what? It's time. Um, and it occurred to me because I'm Chicago that C2E2 is in Chicago Comic Entertainment Expo is here in Chicago, usually springtime. And this was like a Wednesday, and you know, the show was going to start Thursday, Friday, and it's like, you know, the timing is a little tight. But I said, hey, Mike, how soon can we get a website? He said, getting a website's easy. It's what you put on the website that takes time. So, okay, great. Let's do that. So I said, you know what? Let's just do something. He goes, okay, you tell me what you want. So we went on and we said, oh, we're going to create a charity. We're calling it Comics for Kids. That's what we're going to do. Comics for Kids. So we looked it up and we saw that there was Comics for Kids. And you know what Comics for Kids are? Those are those guys that go to those birthday parties and tell jokes or do balloon animals or comics for kids.
Oh, okay. Yep.
It's like,
You
okay.
gotta specify.
Yeah. So I said, okay, we'll do comic books for kids. And so that wasn't taken. And so we ended up with Comic Books for Kids. Son calls me, oh, yeah, we got Comic Book for Kids. What do you want to put on your website? It's like, why are you asking me the hard questions? So I said, I'll tell you what, I will give you content. So I got my Microsoft Word document out, and if you had seen, I should have kept images of our first iteration of our website. We had like 3 tabs, Kelly. The first tab was publishers, and I think it said something as dramatic of publishers. You want to work with us? Call me. Yeah, very inspiring, right? Retailers tab, click. Retailers, you want to be part of this give back for the kids? Call me.
I mean, that's
Collectors,
all you needed.
influencers, you want to be part of this? But I wanted to get something out there. I mean, I wanted to be. You have to start with something, so I wanted to get something out there. Went to the local Office Max, got business cards that said Comic Book for Kids. At this point, remember, we're still concept. We don't have hospitals. We don't have any money. We have no inventory. We are still 24 hours into this with a website, a new name, and a concept and an idea. All right. And I don't know what I don't know. Friday comes along and I walk into C2E2. Nervous, anxious. I'm fearless, I guess.
I
I walk up
mean,
to the
it's not
IDW booth.
brave if you're not scared.
Oh, I listen. I've brave, yes. Scared. Oh yeah. I walked up to the IDW booth and I see a guy there. I was actually with a gentleman who introduced me. He's a retailer himself who knew of my mission and wanted to help.
Oh.
And I said, "Oh, Dirk. Hi, my name is, and I'm starting a charity to provide comic books to children in hospitals and cancer centers. Is this something that you would like to be a part of, or IDW would like to be a part of?" He looks at me and says, "Absolutely, we would." And I go, "Really?" Because if you had asked me beforehand, statistically, what my odds were that he was going to say yes, really was not what I was expecting. Okay. If you spin the wheel, there's 100 slots, 99 were no, and maybe that one was yes.
Yep.
And so I was like, so now Mark's doing the happy dance in his head, but I'm trying to be as incredibly cool as I can in front of him. Kind of like, I knew you'd say that. But I didn't. I mean, I'm jumping up down in my head. And I said, "Thank you, Dirk. That's terrific. How do you want to follow up?" And I'm trying not to have my head explode in front of him. Okay. And he looks at me and he says, "I'm in meetings throughout this weekend, as you could imagine here at C2E2. I will call you on Monday. Do you have a card?" Well, yes, I do.
No.
Give
Oh,
him
you
my
did.
card.
That's right.
And I did, right? And so I gave him my card. Now I am blown away, Kelly. I mean, it's like, all right, this is cool. This is cool. But take a breath. This is not the end all be all. I turn around and there is a booth 10 feet away, and it was Dark Horse. So I walk up to the Dark Horse booth, and there was a person there, and I looked at her and said, "Hey, you don't know me. My name is, but I'm starting a charity to provide comic books for children in hospitals and cancer centers. Is this something you'd like to be a part of? I was just talking with your friends at IDW, and this is something that they would like to do. I'm hoping that maybe in some way you'd be interested in doing." She looks at me and she says, "Can I give you a hug?"
Oh.
And I said, "Well, look, I'm not going to turn down a hug, but can you tell me why?" She said, "Mark, you wouldn't know this." And she's looking at my name tag that's how she knew me. "Mark, you wouldn't know this, but I'm in the booth here with one other person." Okay. Now she went to get coffee, but the last thing she said right before you walked away is, and we were talking about this, is what a shame that we have all this material here and in our warehouse. And instead of throwing it away, I wish there was an organization we could give this to. She says
Oh my
that.
gosh.
I agree. She goes to get coffee. You walk up.
It was fate, kismet, whatever.
At her and said, "Yeah, I'll take the hug. And
Oh
thank
my
you."
gosh.
And that Kelly is when I knew kismet, fate, serendipity, call it what you will. I knew that there was something here, not just in my head, but that the industry could potentially get behind. But
I love
that
it.
was how we started. And that was only day 2 of this initiative.
Wow, that's incredible. Just incredible. Like, so after that, how did it grow? How did it become what you are now?
I leave C2E2 and I am a little anxious, a little, not a little, a lot excited. I've got a couple publishers who had said they wanted to do it. I think I had other couple smaller ones who said yes, but just because they say yes, just because they're courteous to your face at an event, doesn't mean that once they leave and you circle back with them, that there is any intent for this to happen, right? So I knew that I had to get the industry behind me. This was not going to be the Mark Weiss Foundation. I didn't want this to be me. I wanted this to be the industry giving back to the kids. I didn't mind being the face and the guy behind the scenes, but I wanted the industry, all of us, you and me and the retailers and the influencers and the collectors, and I wanted everybody who believes in this mission to be able to participate. Well, 7 years ago in the comic book industry, there was only one distributor, really a distributor for comic books, and it was Diamond. And Diamond was the one that would send the comic books to the retailers. They'd work with the publishers, they'd then send the comics to the retailers. And so if you were a retailer or you were anybody in the industry, you had to, at that time, work with Diamond. Now the world has changed and there's a few more distributors now,
Yep.
but Diamond was the company that you had to work with. Now, Diamond had, and they still have, a very large catalog that comes out every month called Previews. It's about that thick, okay? And it lists by publishers some of the key books that are coming out. So I opened up Previews and I turned to the first page and I looked up the officer, President CEO Steve Jeppy. I'm not going to call him. I don't think I'm going to get anywhere with Steve. Steve doesn't know me. Nobody knows. And I just said, oh, operations exec, John. Cool. He's a direct report to Jeppy. Cool. Dial the number. Diamond Comics Distributors. Hi, this is Mark Weiss. I'd like to speak with John. Who should I, I'm sorry, who is this? Who should I say is calling? I said, someone that John doesn't know. Put me through to his voicemail. Just put me through to his voicemail. Just a minute, please. I get the voicemail. I start talking. John, this is Mark Weiss. You don't know me, but you're an operations exec and you're exactly the person I want to speak with. I am creating something in the industry. And here is my ask of you. I want you to give me 5 minutes of your time, just 5 minutes. If you can do that for me, and after 5 minutes, you don't like what you hear, you have my permission here and now to hang up on me and never talk to me again. But will you give me the courtesy of a 5-minute phone call? And I hung up. Never expecting a phone call back, because how cryptic is that? Oh, another solicitor calling asking for money, right? John called back within an hour.
Wow.
We talked for an hour and a half.
Oh my gosh.
And I said, John, I don't know what I don't know, but I want to do something special for the kids. And I want to be a partner with you. And I want your help. And I want you to help me make this happen. And I want to work with Diamond because you're going to touch retailers. And I have some ideas, but I'm going to want you to help me as well. John said, I love everything I hear about this. Let me talk to my staff. And let me get back to you. I said, John, we can brainstorm. You know, you do returnables, don't have them tear them up. Just have them send them to me. You carry inventories. Maybe we can work out some things you can think. He goes, Mark, I got it. Mark, just let me see what I can do for you.
Oh.
A month goes by, we talk. He goes, yeah, we're working on some stuff, Mark. We're working on stuff. We're not sure yet, but we're working on stuff. June, July comes by, summer comes by, and I get a phone call from someone. Mark, did you hear? Did I hear? Come on, you heard, right? Okay, no. San Diego Comic-Con. Yeah. Diamond. My friends don't always communicate effectively with me, as you can tell. What? He goes, I'm at the retailer luncheon here at San Diego Comic-Con, and Diamond just announced their relationship with you. I said, what do you mean they announced a relationship? I didn't even know they were, I had no idea they were announced.
They put out a press release before telling you.
They put out a press release, and I didn't know a thing about it.
That's hilarious.
And so what we ended up doing is working out a situation where when publishers had overstock and were sitting in Diamond's warehouse, Diamond was losing space because they have to maintain the inventory. Publishers were paying a fee for the space. So we worked something out where materials that were sitting in Diamond's warehouse and were going to be destroyed after a period of time could be sent to me.
Yes, that's perfect.
But that would also require me being a real charity, which as of yet, I wasn't. So now I knew I had to get on the ball. We're probably 60 to 90 days in now, and this thing is getting a little real, okay? So that's the beginning of me getting involved with Diamond and in a charity. Now let me share with you how this became real. Okay?
Yes.
So Diamond's going to give me inventory. publishers, it's really the publisher's inventory. Diamond is going to clear out their warehouse, and the publishers are going to authorize their inventory to be sent to me. Diamond has agreed to ship it to me at no charge.
Which is
But
great.
that means I have to give Diamond a donation receipt for the shipping costs. I have to give
Yep.
the publisher a legal donation receipt for the product. But I can't give them a donation receipt because I'm not a legal entity. I'm only 90 days in. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
like,
a lot of paperwork.
it's like, okay, I guess I got to do something. At this point, we were a charity in name only. We were a
Yep.
charity on paper. Our website had populated, not much better than it was when I first told you what it was. We had a couple people saying, "This is really cool. We'll work with you." I had a couple people sending me comics, and maybe my total sum inventory was about 30 books at the time. I am not kidding.
Believe it.
I still
Everyone
had
starts
no money
somewhere.
because who's going to give donations to somebody because we're still, I mean, charities pop
Yeah,
up
if you
all the
don't have the
time.
501(c)(3), you can't even take money.
Absolutely right. So I look up in Chicago. I look because I'm not in Chicago. I'm in the suburbs of Chicago, and I'm trying not to spend thousands of dollars because again, I don't know what my donation path is going to be.
Right.
So I wanted to see if there was any free pro bono stuff that attorneys would do, and I called a few in my town, and they told me no. It's like, yeah, okay. So I look in Chicago, and I see this organization, and I call them, and they say, "Oh yeah, we help underserved organizations become 501(c)(3)s." And I start talking with this lady, and I say, "I can't do this to you guys. I would love to have your support, but I, in fairness, can't ask for your help." And she goes, "Well, wait a minute, why not?" I said, "Because you said underserved, and I am a middle-aged white guy that had a professional career. I live in a medium income house. I am by no means considering myself underserved, and I will not take this away from someone that is more deserving of that recognition." She said, "Shut up, Mark. This is not always about you, okay?" She didn't say that, but that's what she was thinking because almost came
Yeah.
across. She didn't say that, okay? But she said to me, "Who is your customer?" I said, "Children in hospitals across the country, children in cancer centers across the country." She said, "Would you consider them underserved?" I said, "There are hospitals in every state that are affluent, and there are hospitals in every state that are not, that are struggling,
Mhm.
that where kids can't pay their hospital bills, where medical bills are family." So yeah, I would say that many of the clientele we're going to support are underserved. And she said, "Then you are absolutely at the right place."
Oh, good for her for pointing that
I said,
out.
"Okay." I said, "This is exciting. How does it work? I'm in. Let's go. Give me my 501(c)(3). I'm ready to go.
Like
Yeah.
they can just issue it that day, like the DMV.
I'll write you a check. You hand me the 501(c)(3). We're rocking and rolling, right? No, no,
Oh,
no.
if only.
She said, let me tell you how it works, Mark. You're going to write me a check for $150. It's non-refundable. We're a nonprofit too." I was like, "I don't write a check. I've got no money." Really? Okay, I'll do it. I mean, I'll write a check. And she said, "That's just to get your application in. And then what you're going to do is you're going to fill out a very small one-page application. But then what you're really going to do is where the work comes in. You're going to fill out a business plan." Okay, great. I said, I'll get it to you in, give me 10 days." She said, "No, no, no. Let me explain. You see, we work with all the attorneys here in Chicago, okay? And once a month, what we do is we take all the applications that people like you have submitted to us and sent to us, and we collate them together. And we send them electronically to all the attorneys in the area that are part of this mission. And if your selection gets chosen, then you will work with that legal team and they will help you become a 501c3. It's great.
Oh my
Let's do it. I'll
goodness.
give you, like I said, I'm 10 days, 2 weeks. I'll put this together. She sighs. Says, today, what was today, Mark? I said, I don't know, Thursday, Friday. She goes, it's Friday, Mark. Yeah, okay. Should we do this once a month? Cool. No, not what I'm about to tell you. Because the once a month is Monday at noon.
Oh
I,
no.
I said, you mean like 3 days from now? Meanwhile, I'm thinking I got Diamond in the back of my head saying, we're going to start working with you.
Yeah.
I said, 3 days. No problem. Said it, thinking, oh my God. She said, Mark, and the way she said it was the way my mother used to say it when she was mad at me. Mark, like, yeah. Let me explain to you what the business plan has to be. Remember, you're competing against everyone that submits.
Oh boy.
I want to know your mission. I want to know your objectives. I want to know your initiatives. I want to know your strategy. I want to see your financial plan. I want to see your board of directors. I want to see what inventory you're going to have. I need full financials for 1 year, 3 year, and 5 years. I need to see a competitive profile.
Oh my
I said,
gosh.
cool. Monday, right? She goes, yeah, but Mark, if I don't see it by noon on Monday, I said, can it be 5 o'clock? She said, if I don't see it by noon on Monday,
You're gonna have to wait another month
we
to
wait
enter the
another month.
lottery.
We wait another month. Again, I got Diamond in the back of my mind. I said, I can't wait another month.
Yeah.
So I hung up the phone. I took a deep breath. And I went back to the college days, Kelly. The college days
I was
of when the
thinking that.
papers
Yep.
when the papers were due. Remember those days? Except the
Oh
only difference
yes.
was what I had in front of me to drink was a little different today than perhaps what it was when I was in college. Okay, because I was not there was not a lineup of alcoholic beverages in front of me as I was getting my laptop and started typing the document. And I
That wouldn't have
started.
helped.
Oh, good God! I started on Friday afternoon, and I just sat at our kitchen table and I just sat and I typed and I erased and backed up and I added things and I worked the entire weekend. I did a few hours of sleep where I could and then went back at it. Liked what I saw, didn't like what I saw, kept on plowing through. And by Monday, I have to get this in by Monday at noon. By Monday at 11 o'clock, I still had another page to do, an executive summary. And I was already on page 35, typed up pages of my business plan.
Wow.
I had proofed it, autocorrect was proofing it. I'm going through it. And of course, the problem also is, and you know this, when you type emails, you type a document, your brain reads what you think you wrote, not always what you actually have written.
Yes.
Right? So I had other people look at it, had my wife look at it. I had others look at it. They didn't get back to me. They didn't even get back to me because they probably didn't even look at it. But I asked people to look at it. It's 11:30. It's time to submit it because I want to just, I don't want this to be the old meme of, oh, you submitted it and the internet went down. No, I wasn't going to allow that to happen. At about 11:30, 11:45, I wanted to finesse it more. I didn't. I just hit the send button, took a breath, and I said, 3 days. 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 3 days closed the laptop, closed my eyes, and said, gave it our best. And that was Monday at noon. They had told me I would hear in a week. The next day, Tuesday afternoon, less than 24 hours, actually Tuesday morning, less than 24 hours after I had sent it, she said, Mark, I have some amazing news for you. She said,
Oh,
not
that's so
only did
exciting.
we get your submission, we had legal teams fighting over who could work with you.
Oh, that's awesome.
And again, I'm thinking, this is, again, you talk about kismet, you talk about karma. I use the word serendipity. It's everything seems to be falling in place here, that as if it's being guided, right? As if I'm
Right.
being pushed towards something. She said, I got an incredible legal team for you. They're in downtown Chicago in the financial district. Expect a call within an hour.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you. Phone rings in 1 hour. Mark, this is so and so. We read your application. We want to sponsor you. Do we have your permission to represent you at no charge and to help you become a 501c3? I said, absolutely, you do. She said, how soon can you get down here? My response, how soon can you see me? She said, well, it's Tuesday. How about Thursday, 1 o'clock? I will see you Thursday at 1 o'clock. And I get off the phone, and like so many other times, Kelly, I shake my head and said, this is amazing. This is becoming all so real. The idea from concept to industry backing to becoming a real 501c3, this is really going to happen. This is really going to happen.
Yeah.
Thursday comes around. I catch an early train because I don't want my train to be late. I don't want anything to screw up.
Right.
So I get there an hour and a half early. I'm a hurry up and wait type of guy. I am there so early. I go and make a mistake of sitting in my local coffee shop and drinking way too much coffee. Like I'm the type of guy that needs more coffee. Look at me, right? I walk in, meet the legal team, shake their hand, start talking with them. Hey, awesome, Mark. This is great. We're so happy to represent you. What's the name of your organization? Oh, Comic Book for Kids. She looks at me and she says, how do you spell it? I said, well, 4 words: comic space books space for space kids. She goes, let's do something different. I look at her and I say, look, you're giving me the free support. You're my legal team now. What do you have in mind? She goes, let's make comic books 1 word. I said, why? She goes, because it's different. It's different. It stands out. Now, I will tell you in retrospect, if I had $1 for every time someone spelled my name wrong, Kelly, I wouldn't have to ever fundraise again. Okay. Because everyone, okay. But I said, listen, if you think, she goes, it's different. It's different. Trust me. I think, yes, do that. Great. And so that is why comic books, as it is today, interestingly enough, I looked it up once I got back from the legal team, and it said Stan Lee always said that comic book should be 1 word. So when people ask me why, I just say, well, Stan Lee
Interesting.
always said it. So if it was good enough for Stan, it's good enough for me. But
I
the
was
real
gonna
reason,
say,
right? The real reason, and now you and everyone watching now knows, it was the legal team that says, let's do something a little different. And
that's funny. That's fantastic.
they fill out the paperwork. They ask me some questions. They say it's going to take 5 months. Illinois is horrible. It's going to take 5 months to get this processed, but
Oh, that's so
we're going to
stressful.
get this submitted in a week for you. It's great. Call me with any questions. She goes, no, this is your business plan was so thorough. We can work from that.
Good for you. That weekend cramming.
Well, and I'm thinking to myself, how competent is the information in the business plan? I mean, I gave it my best shot, but you and I both know that what you put down day one of what you think you're going to be in a year, well, it wasn't. But I mean, it was a good document. But we had enough stuff to put it down. I walked back. I talked with the legal team a couple of times, and in 6 weeks later, in the mail comes my 501c3 document. 6 weeks. It told me
That's so
5 months.
exciting.
They
That's not
called me and
bad.
they said, Mark, this has rarely have we ever seen anything this fast. I go, was it because of my mission? And she goes, don't get a big head. Okay. No, it wasn't. It just happened to be. No, she didn't say that, but I was thinking that. I was because of my mission. And she goes, no, it just happened to be you got him at the right time, at the right moment. Congratulations. You are now an official IRS charity.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that was, I mean, if you go on our website, our 501c3 is on our website. I mean, I put it right there for people to see, to legitimize exactly who we are. But now I could go back to Diamond. Now I could go back to IDW. Now I could go back to Dark Horse. Now I could go back to anybody and say, give me whatever you want, because now I can give you a legitimate donation receipt. And that was the genesis and the beginning of us starting, But even then, Kelly, I mean, even then, think about it. We're a charity on paper only still. We're legitimate now, but we're a charity on paper only. But it's a good piece of paper to be a charity only on, this short on. And that was how this all started. A lot of hard work, passion, and dedication, and belief, and commitment to do something. That was the beginning.
It's amazing. And then phase 2, of course, was getting into hospitals, which hospitals can be tricky to work with. So how did you tackle that problem?
I had said that I didn't want this to be a foundation. I wanted this to be an industry charity.
Mhm.
And I knew that I wanted this to be a national. Actually, I wanted this to be North America. Actually, I wanted this to be worldwide. I mean, I wanted, if I could be universe, other planets. Yeah. I mean, I wanted this to be everywhere. But let's just start with the home state.
Mhm.
So I said, okay, let's get stuff in hospitals. And I called a retailer friend of mine. I said, do you have anything you can donate to me? He goes, yeah, some guy bought a 1 in 100 Spider-Man, which means I had for every 100 copies of Spider-Man, we buy, we get a special variant 1 in 100. This guy bought it. I have more copies than I know what to do with. I can give you 50 copies of Spider-Man. Do you want it? I said, yeah, bring it on. I mean, I'm excited. Now I got inventory. So he mails me a box of 50 copies of Spider-Man. I call up a hospital that's 20 minutes away. It's a regional hospital. And I talked to a team called Child Life, and I learned that was pretty much the organizations that help nurture the children and help them with long-term issues, or even with just making sure the well-being of the child is taken care of while they're in the hospital. So I called and said, hey, I have 50 comic books for you. They're predominantly for teens. You want them. And I hope in some point in the future, there's going to be more and different types. But for now, I got 50 copies of Spider-Man. You want them? She goes, yeah. I go, really? Cool. I'll be there in a half hour. What do I do? She goes, just go to the reception, call me. So this is day one of real actual becoming a charity now. I get my box of 50 copies of Spider-Man. I get in my car. I drive 30 minutes to the hospital. I get out of my car. I go to the reception desk. I page the person. Hi, nice to meet you. How are you? Here's your 50 copies of Spider-Man. I hope someday I can give you more and it's different. Have a nice day. Flash forward. Spoiler. Today, our boxes are about 16 by 12 by 12, which is a good size box. I know the camera isn't showing it, but imagine, you know, a foot and a quarter by a foot long by over a foot high sometimes. Our average box mirrors what you'll see in a comic shop. We'll put in every box 50, 60, or 70 comics. They go in a comic magazine bag where they are taped and labeled. Children, all ages, teens. 30, 40 children, 30, 40 teens. On top of that, we will have children's books. On top of that, we will have 20 or 30 coloring books. On top of that, we will have 3 or 4 Funko Pops. We will have t-shirts. We will possibly have other toys. And the box weighs 25 to 30 pounds. And from, but I get ahead of myself. Let's go to specifically the answer to your question of how did we get all the hospitals? Because right there, we only have one.
Right.
So Mark gets out a map of the US and says, I want a hospital or 2 or 3 in every state of this country. I want to be able to say, we support the United States, all the states, and all demographics. And so I did it the old-fashioned way. I went on Google, I looked up hospitals in the state of Alaska, hospitals in the state of Hawaii. Yes, we do send boxes to Alaska and Hawaii, and yes, they are expensive. Hospitals in the state, it's $100 to ship a box to Alaska and Hawaii, and in the size of the boxes we do. One box, $100, we do it.
Oh my gosh. So just to stop you for a minute there, anyone who is giving monetary donations, that's one of the places your money goes, in case you're wondering.
Our single biggest expense.
Yep.
Well, I'll get to that. I'll get to that because it gets to the point where it's a great, I mean, thank you for saying that, because I am now calling hospitals and I get the question, Mark, this is great. Love what you're offering, these comic books. Do you follow infectious disease policies?
That's important. And that's also hard to do.
I stopped and I said, so you don't want to display your ignorance right now, but I said, when you say infectious disease policies, and knowing everybody could mean something different, and I'm trying to sound intelligent here, what do you mean? Which is a complete professional way of saying I have no freaking clue what you're talking about. She said, well, infectious disease policies here at our hospital means that the products are minimally handled, they're brand new, they're kept in a temperature controlled environment, they're, you know, as germ free as one can be. And I said, well, let me tell you, all of our materials are kept indoors. I'm the only one that handles them. Everything is brand new. Does that qualify? She said, yes, it does. I said, great. But everything wasn't brand new at the time. So now I had another issue I had to deal with, which was to separate those things that were new and separate them that were not brand new. So I knew I had to do that. More so, I knew I had to make absolutely certain that my product was in a temperature controlled environment. So when you say where the money goes, and yes, this is where I absolutely could use help, Kelly, because we now have 1,200, again, I'm jumping ahead, 1,200 square feet of space that is crammed full of so many good goodies, and we'll get into that at some point. So full of goodies, but it's indoor, and my lease is $1,200 a month. I have to pay that because I have to store the materials and it has to be protected. Second of all, shipping is astronomical. Anybody who ships, I don't have to convince you of that. You guys all know how much
It's
shipping
crazy.
is, right? And I am, but I haven't told you how many boxes I'm shipping to because all you've heard is I'm shipping to one hospital. So meanwhile, I have the map of the United States and I start calling. You interested? Yeah, great. Let me take your email down. I'm putting together boxes. Give me a couple weeks. Circle the state, go on. Circle the state, go on. Dialing after dialing. Starting to get frustrated. There's got to be an easier way. And I really want to be recognized by the industry, not only the comic industry, but the medical industry for trying to do what we did. It's too bad there isn't a Children's Hospital Association. Oh, there is a Children's Hospital Association. Why didn't I think of that? Hi,
I have moments like that all the time where I'm like,
Kelly.
I could have been doing this the easier way. Yep.
Hi, guys. This is what I'm trying to do. Oh, you do have a bunch of hospitals. Well, could you just send a note to them, one note, and have them reach out to me? No, no, that would be too easy, wouldn't it? Because I really like you to do that. I'll send you the note, what we're trying to do. You have them call me. Can we just do that? No, we can't.
No.
But what you will give me is a list of names of the hospitals in your network. Yes, great. Which they did, which I then called, which I was then able to bring in. And when the dust settled, we had every state in the country as part of our network, and flash forward to today, where we have over 200 hospitals in all 50 states as part of our give back. And if you go on our website, so you don't have to believe what I'm saying, and you take a look on our website, and there's a tab that says Children's Hospital Network, it shows many of the hospitals. I mean, I still have to put some more logos on there, the hospitals that we ship to, and it's pretty
So
amazing. If you see the
exciting.
logo there, it means that we've done it. Uh, and so all 50 states, all demographics, and then the phone calls came from Toronto. Will you support Canada? Sure, because guess what? It's cheaper for me to ship from Chicago to Toronto than to go to Alaska. Not cheap,
Oh my
but
gosh.
cheaper. I mean,
Yeah.
relatively speaking. So overnight, not overnight, but boom, now we're North America charity, supporting over 200 hospitals to all demographics. And then the
So
pallets came from IDW and Dark Horse. So I've got new materials now.
perfect.
And then it became comic books for kids and very, very real. Uh, but then the requests came in from the hospitals. Comics are awesome. Do you have coloring books?
Hmm.
Do you want coloring books? Oh, yeah. Love coloring books. And I heard it from more hospitals than one, more than two, more than three. We actually created our own coloring book with
This is
folks
amazing.
like Sterenko, Neil Adams, Mike Grell, you name it, people I had never talked to in my life contributing to a coloring book for kids. But the price became so, and so we put these together and we sent them out. I mean, these things are amazing. They're collectibles in and of themselves, but they were expensive to produce. So we worked with a company called Bendon, who worked with us. They give us they don't give us, they provide us superhero coloring books. We pay 50 to 75 cents. It's one of the only things we do buy. But the kids want them, the hospitals want them, and all of a sudden now we're comic books and coloring books to kids. And then Dark Horse calls me and says, we have Plant versus Zombie books, and we have these robot books where the price changed. We can't use them anymore. Do you want some children's books? Sure.
And now you also have the Comic Books for Troops initiative. So do you want to
We
talk about that a
do.
bit?
We do. Um, Before I get into that, there was one thing though I really wanted, and that was I wanted some more kind of toys, action figures.
Yes.
You walk into any retail comic shop or any collectible place and you see Funko Pops. You see Funko everywhere. Everybody knows Funko. I want Funko to be part of this. So I reached out and say, hey, this is who we are. I get a beautiful form letter back. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Yeah, okay. They send me like 20 Funko Pops. I send them out, get a picture back from a hospital, forward the picture back to them and say, hey, thank you. Here's a picture. How else can we work together? And all of a sudden I get a different note back from Funko. Love the picture you sent us. Tell me more about who you are. Well, I already did. You already had the document. No, tell me more about who you are and what you're trying to achieve. And all of a sudden, the relationship with Funko started, where on a quarterly basis, they're sending me 20 to 30 cases of Funko Pops, Funko plush, Funko toys, Funko items. And now our boxes have Funko items in it. But to answer your question, Kelly, we have these used comics, the ones that are not brand new. And those items in the industry, which are not suitable for kids, which is many cases 90% of the comics published, we're arriving now by donations because we got ourselves on social media, we got ourselves on Facebook, and now all of a sudden, being in social media, the word on who we are is getting out, and our numbers are starting to go up as people are discovering us. Social media being the magic bullet for us here. So now we're getting pictures from hospitals. We're posting pictures back on our website, which is self-perpetuating, getting more donations, and I'm getting more material, but it's unsuitable for the kids. So I called a couple organizations in the area that were military organizations and said, hey, you do care packages for the troops. If we could give you comic books, would you like that? And they go, oh my gosh, yes. We put socks and little, crackers and toothbrushes and mittens in, and let's give them something fun. And then I get a phone call from Mark. I'm calling from this organization in North Carolina, and I represent the Children's Hospital on a military base. Do you have any comics you could send us? Sure. Can I put them in touch with you directly? Sure. The chaplain calls me and says, how many comics could you send? I go, well, what do you want? He goes, could you send 300? Yeah.
Easy.
1,000? Yeah. 2,000? Yeah. A pallet? You want me to send you a pallet? Yeah, I do. You want a pallet? Yeah, can you send us a pallet? Before I say yes, is that really where you were at? Is that what you really want? You're asking more? No, I think we're good at two pallets. It's like one of those auction things. Do I hear one pallet? Do I hear two pallets? Okay, got them going up, right? You want two pallets? Yeah, okay. I'll see what I can
You're like,
do.
I have it. Just make sure you don't, make sure you don't
Well,
regret it.
and I'm thinking, okay, how much is it going to cost for me to ship two pallets? I have it, but
Yeah.
all of a sudden now, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
Call Lone Star Comics in Austin, Texas, who had heard about our mission. Buddy Saunders is the owner operator, an incredible gentleman. When he heard about who we are, he immediately turned around and wrote me a check for $1,000 on the spot. Said, if you ever need anything,
Wow.
you call me. Buddy,
Oh my
you
gosh.
once said to
So
me, if I
nice.
ever need anything, to call you. You happen to be the largest online e-tailer in the US. I got a military base that wants 2 pallets. Great, we'll do it. You let me know
Wow.
how much you want me to pay you for shipping. I will cover the shipping costs. He says, no, you won't. What do you mean, no, I won't? He says, we will do this. This is how much we believe in what you're doing. You let us
Oh,
know where to ship it to. We will take care of it this week. Overnight, between the calls from the military directly and us providing it to what we call our support partners who we give materials to put in boxes, we became the largest charity in the United States for the military just overnight. Last year, we did over 100,000 comics to the military.
oh
Just,
my
just, just,
goodness.
just overnight, because, and so we have we have a subsidiary called Comic Book for Troops. It's a trademark. It's
Mhm.
trademarked by our terrific legal team, along with Comic Book for Kids. It's on our website, and if you actually go to our website and you click on the Comic Book for Troops logo, you can actually see pictures of the military opening up their vans and taking these long boxes that Buddy Saunders and my comic shop, Lone Star, sent them, and they're smiling like little kids, Kelly. Uh, and and boom, 7 years later, as I look at you and I talk to your incredible team of people who are watching this, we are the largest charity in the country for comic books and pop culture to children in hospitals and cancer centers, as well as the military. And new news, as of a year ago, we opened up a branch in the UK. So now we are, by definition, the largest charity in the
Yes.
world for what we do, all from those humble beginnings that I shared with you earlier in this discussion, of just not knowing where this was going to go and what this was going to become. And this is what we
Incredible.
do. We do this every day. On Christmas Day, I was getting emails from hospitals. On Christmas Day, I was responding. Sickness doesn't take a break. We are there for the hospitals. We are there for the kids. We will do whatever we can do. And as I look and talk to you, and I talk to all the people who are watching this, be a part of this. However you want to be a part of this, be a part of it. If you can send us $5, send us $5. If you can send us 5 comic books, a Funko Pop, a toy, a children's book, send it to us. However you want to make a difference, make a difference, because we're all in this together. And here's the cool news. Nobody knows who I am. And here's why. When we give these materials to the hospitals give it to the kids and the parents. Comic Book for Kids and my name never shows up. When this stuff goes to the military, when my comic shop send the pallets, my name is never there. And that's great. That's all right. Because it's not, as I said, about us. It's not about promoting who we are. It's about all of us together in the industry making a difference for so many. And that's what we're about, Kelly. And that's what we do every single day of the year.
That's perfect. That is absolutely, I agree. That's what charity's about. It's not about you, it's about helping others and just especially kids dealing with cancer
Correct.
and
Correct.
those lifetime diseases. They need every bit of joy they can get, and I feel like they need the hope and inspiration that superheroes provide.
I got an email yesterday from someone. Yesterday, Mark, when I was a child on a chemo drip, I wish I had known about your charity and a box from you had come to my hospital.
Oh,
Email a year ago, Mark, when I was a child, I was abused by my father.
oh
My
my
mother
gosh.
brought comic books to me in the hospital. Comic books got me through. You have no idea what you are doing and how much it is impacting the kids. And these are the emails and the stories I hear every week. because I didn't know. We were trying to make a difference. We do try to make a difference, and we realize we're not God. We can't impact medical, physiological medicine. We never realized the impact on the psychological and the impact it was making. I get an email from a nurse, Mark, you sent us a book. The child only spoke Spanish, but recognized the superhero character, became animated, and within 5 minutes, this child who was very subdued was sitting up, giggling, laughing. We had an amazing relationship, and they were so ready to go into surgery because they knew when they got out, we could talk more about the superhero characters. Thank you, Mark.
Oh, that's perfect. That's why we
That's
do it.
that's why I do it. And I walk out sometimes of my office where I read an email and I'm glassy eyed, and my wife looks at me and she just said, "You got another email again, didn't you?" And I said, they touch my heart, each and every one of them. And we do this every single day, Kelly. We do this every single day. Uh, Today being January 5th, we shipped 7 boxes today, and this is just finishing up our October Halloween shipment, our Thanksgiving shipment, and believe it or not, our holiday December shipments that we just finished. And yet we had hospitals saying, "Do you have any leftovers anymore?" And I said, "If we don't, you don't need to worry about it. We'll make you new boxes." 7 went out yesterday, 7 went out today. This is what we do every day of the year.
That's so exciting. And I think this is the best note to end this interview on. People will hear from you again. This is the pre-recording, so people will hear from you again tomorrow night for a
Wonderful.
live interview. They'll get
Wonderful.
to ask you questions and tune in and get to pick your brain. So even though, like you said, normally people don't get to know who you are, they're going to get to know you a little bit this weekend, which is exciting. So
I'm excited about it. I'm hopeful to ask any questions you want, but you know, become involved, become part of this. That's the end goal. However you want to do it, and I don't care how you want to do it, become part of this give back with us. Then we've achieved our objective in you know, winning the battle, one comic book, one pop culture item at a time.
exactly. Thank you so much for joining me for this, and I will talk to you again soon.
Sounds great, Kelly.
And thank
Thank you,
you
everyone.
all. Bye.